The Lumix GH2 is a DSLX through-the-lens still and movie camera, and you can get a 3D lens for it for about $250 or $110 or maybe just $59. The price has come down. You can take 3D still photos with it as long as your subject's not too close, not too far, and you have plenty of light. The lens is actually two lenses built into the same case. And since there's only one sensor in the camera, you have to put the two images side by side, so you'll lose a little resolution. But it does work, and you can produce MPO files, basically a special file format that has two JPEGs encapsulated inside it. These files will be displayed on 3D-enabled TVs. My TV has an SD card slot, so it's super easy to watch them using the LCD glasses. Now, 3D movies? That's not possible with this lens. Why not? The answer is that it takes too much processing power to crop, skew, and package moving pictures. And with all the other limitations of the little lenses, the final product would be unsatisfactory. Tossing common sense to the wind, you can make 3D movies with this camera. You need a couple of software packages, lots of time, and a little bit of adhesive tape. Since the camera knows when you put the 3D lens on it, you have to fool it into thinking it doesn't have a smart lens on it at all. Take a little bit of tape, cover up the contacts on the lens, and go for it. The result is two different pictures side by side in the same frame. You will have to copy and crop and tweak the picture until you have your finished movie. Just the sort of thing for a weekend hacker who fools himself into thinking he's saving money. Okay, so most of you don't have a Lumix with a 3D lens. You can get a really nice looking Sony HDR TD10 or the new TD30V for around $1,000. It has two sensors built in. It has a 3D screen with no glasses required. This is the way to go for real 3D home movies. It even has a convergence knob so you can do the cross-side alignment adjustment so that the 3D looks best on the objects you're focusing on. The lens on these cameras is not 65 millimeters, but only 30 millimeters apart, so you will not have the 3D effect on more distant scenes as you will in real life. But there are some more tricks up the proverbial sleeve. You can take full resolution movies and turn them into 3D with any camera. Remember the cha-cha method of taking 3D still photos? First you take one picture, then shift to the right and take the next. You've moved the camera in space and in time. To do the same with a movie, you just have to keep moving, or keep your subject moving, but let's start with moving the camera. If you move or dolly your camera left to right over the first 65 millimeters of distance traveled, you will see what your left eye sees, then what your right eye would have seen if you had a stereo camera. So take two copies of your movie and show the left eye the same movie, but start it a few frames earlier than the right. You only need the sound from one of the copies, and you may have some trouble with moving objects, especially people, but hey, 3D. If you are photographing a single subject, you could have the subject rotate instead of moving the camera, or circle the camera around an object. To keep the same orientation, rotate the subject clockwise instead of moving the camera right to left. Now that you have your potential 3D footage, you'll need to make a left and a right movie. Fire up Stereo Movie Maker, a free and fantastically useful little program. With this program you can load movies, view them multiple ways, edit and tweak the 3D properties, and create all kinds of 3D movies. Actually, with 3D Movie Maker, it will do the offset of the pictures all by itself. The only thing is that it really only wants AVI files, and so you might have to do some re-rendering of your movie so that it can read it. If you want to upload your 3D masterpiece to YouTube, no problem. YouTube likes its 3D movies to be side by side. When it knows you have a 3D movie, it can play it back in a number of different formats, so your fans can use whatever works best for them. Why 3D? Why not? Is 3D necessary? It could be. Has there been a movie that required 3D? I'll have to research that, but I'd like to come up with a movie idea where 3D was not just a flashy technical show-off, but integral to the plot.